because, as we know throughout history, we've been experimented on with various different things, and we are not educated enough, and it's not within spoken about within the homes.
Right.
So when it comes to a case of preparing, like if I was to tell my mum about alkaline water,
yes,
yeah, at my mum's generation,
yes,
it's something they're not familiar with,
sure.
And that's only not because they're ignorant. It's just true to it has not been indoctrinated within
right.
our households, because we're used to a certain thing, and so yes, we need to we do at points think for the moment, but I would say a lot of it, and it becomes we're very superstitious as a people,
right?
And that plays a role.
And religion.
Yeah, and religion.
Do you say religion?
Yeah, religion.
Yeah.
And it plays a role. If you're, okay. I said if you're Catholic, they don't believe in certain
No.
But we're gonna bring.
I've got a lot of especially African. They tend to say God is my insurance.
Okay.
Okay. That comes from education. It comes from education.
Well, I want to bring it back to health, guys.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
So let's bring it on back into the health.
No, it's okay, because that's why I referee these events, because we will be talking about everything, you know. But again, the reason why we have the Health Dream Team panel is to have this knowledge available with the people that are on the panel, such as yourself, financial, superfoods, alkaline water, those touched with cancer, survivors, doctors, you know, you name it, they're here. The wigs, getting that hair back on, you know, on top. Cut. Thank God we could cut, and this is not live, right? Jesus. So I'm gonna have the mic right, CC. Take 5.
Hi, so my name is Charlotte. I'm a natural health and lifestyle advisor, public speaker, author of Cancer, The Hidden Truth, and I'm a cancer survivor. My journey started when I was 17 years old. I was diagnosed with stage 3 lymphoblastic lymphoma, which is a cancer of the lymphatic system. For those of you who don't know, the lymphatic system gets rid of toxins out of the body. So I started chemotherapy. During the first month, I got psychosis from the steroids, where I was hearing voices in my head. It was like I was battling with someone else. They finally lowered the dose and the psychosis subsided. But then just 2 weeks before my 18th birthday, my whole nervous system shut down from having too much chemotherapy. So I couldn't walk, couldn't talk, and I couldn't even swallow within the space of 3 to 4 hours. The doctors had never seen this kind of side effect before, and they didn't know whether I would walk or talk again. Fast forward to now, I am walking, I am talking.
Yes!
2.5 years cancer free. I actually stopped chemotherapy early and went on a natural journey. I won't go into too much what I've done, because we'll do that later down the line, I guess. But yeah, and although my walking isn't 100%, I didn't fully listen and depend on what the doctors were saying, because a lot of it has to do with yourself, your mindset,
yes,
you know, your beliefs, the people you have around you. It's not all about depending fully on the doctors. It's about yourself as well. And you've got to take your health into your hands.
I just love her. Thank you, Cece. And we'll come back to you as well, because she's a public speaker, you heard.
Hi guys, my name's Leanne Perot. Outside of what I'm about to tell you, I'm an entrepreneur, so I do a lot of business coaching, a lot of business mentoring in the community. I started my business when I was 15. But then, you know, a couple of days after I turned 30, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 3 breast cancer. in the same year that my mum was also diagnosed with breast cancer for the second time. So that was a huge shock, and I went through 8 rounds of chemotherapy. I went through 16 rounds of Herceptin injections. I actually coped with chemotherapy quite well compared to a lot of other people that I knew that was going through it.
Can I ask, is that because of your mind? Or why did you cope so
I don't
much
know.
better?
I think it's a bit of to and fro. Because, you know, the doctor said, oh, you know, you're fit and healthy, you've danced all your life and done all of this, maybe it's that. But I don't know. Positivity does play a key in that as well. Because of my age and because of my family history as well, there was not really any other option for me but to get rid of both of my breasts. So I had them removed last year. And had a reconstruction, and here I am today.
Amazing. Which looks amazing. Sorry, it sounds like I know what it looks like, but I do. And it looks amazing, amazing.
After my journey, one of the biggest things that was very, very important to me was to not just leave my experience and not do anything for it. So what I did is I just got my business hat on, as I usually do, and I kind of was inspired by Natasha and all the things that she does as well, and I set up my own foundation, and I called it the Leap Foundation. On one half, I mentor lots of people in the community with their business ideas and things like that, but on the other half, I do a lot of blogging around breast cancer, particularly with people under 35 years old, because it's something that's on the rise. Again, I'm going to bring it back to the black community. It's something that is also on the rise in, you know, younger women, but it's also something that we don't talk about enough. So a lot of my work right now is around getting more black female cancer patients connecting together, talking about their experiences, because one of the biggest things that I found really difficult after cancer was building my life back together. And I didn't understand why I felt so depressed after being told you've been given the all clear. And there wasn't enough understanding around it until I did my own research and started talking to people and organisations about, you know, just mental health and cancer and the effects after. So that's a lot of my work now, is around blogging about it, but doing a lot of work with black female cancer patients and survivors, and just bringing them closer together and networking and talking about their experiences in order to aid recovery and everything else.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. So, I want to take it over here to Martin.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Because Martin, he has a lot to talk about when it comes to the mind. So we'll just take it over to you, and please introduce yourself.
Okay, I'll try to keep this short because I tend to ramble.
It's okay, I'm right here. I'll interject.
So I did a PhD in neuroscience, so I know a little bit about the brain.
A lot about the brain.
Probably, maybe. My dad had cancer, so that's quite interesting. Actually, before I say anything about myself, it's quite amazing that you know, that you guys, some of you have gone through cancer. I've had family that went through cancer.
Thank you.
So good job on being alive, you know.
Yes, yes. Right? Good job on being alive. I like that. I like that one, Martin. Thank you so much. Because I'm always smiling. I'm always happy. Everyone thinks I'm on 10, but it's because I'm alive. You know, and my sister's not. You know, I buried my sister, and, you know, for those that don't know, my story was my mom's sister, youngest sister, then my sister, then myself, both of us together, then 2 uncles, then 2 aunts, and now another aunt a couple weeks ago when I was with, we were in the Langham, just big up the Langham. We're in the Langham Hotel for breast cancer care, an event, and I got the phone call that my aunt is in the hospital with an aggressive cancer. So this is why I do what I do, and why we're all here. And yeah, so thank you. Thank you for saying that.
That's incredible, yeah. I think, so I can't stay too long, actually. I have to run off in
That's okay.
10 minutes.
Okay, give us your 10.
I'm going to make it a little bit longer. So I'm a biologist in parts, and a computer scientist, and I do AI and other things like that. But I'm a scientist, right? So I'm going to give you that perspective.
Yes, please.
I think it's very dangerous to think natural. I don't want to bash on anyone's brain. I think natural is very important. I think the mind is very important. Like what you said, I fully agree. Like you have to. And who else said that? Someone said that. One of you, maybe you said that it's important to be involved with doctors and like know what's happening. No, someone else said that. Who said that? Did you say that?
What was that?
That you need to. Yeah, you said that. That you need to know what the doctors are prescribing you. That kind of thing.
I kept questioning them all the time with my friend.
I think that's super important to be part of that process and try to understand as much as you can, right? So my dad had this pretty nasty prostate cancer that had spread to the lymphatic system, which you mentioned, so kind of the immune system, and it spread sort of in that general region. So if you know the region, it's like a pretty uncomfortable one, right? Right. And it's pretty much guaranteed that he would have died if it wasn't for radioactive tracers. So highly unnatural method. Radioactive isotope is inserted into your blood, and you can track with very high resolution where the cancer is, which has spread. Okay, so anyway, he had that, and then he had the bits cut off, and it's like all around, spread out. So I think it's really important to not think that one thing is the solution. Like for some people, maybe alkaline water will help. Probably for others, it won't help. For some people, maybe natural solutions would help. For many people, it will not help. For many people, you need like, experimental radioactive tracers, like my dad needed, right? And that's like very unnatural. And that almost certainly saved his life,
How long ago your dad?
How long what?
So your dad's taking that medication course.
Yeah.
He's still here today, yeah?
He's alive, yeah, for now.
Yeah, so obviously he's clear.
Maybe.
Okay.
Hopefully.
I hope so as well. That's good.
Yeah, I think it's important to, don't like, it's really complicated. Cancer is freaking complicated, and you should not think that you know the solution just because maybe you got cleared or someone else got saved by some approach, or you think they got saved by some approach. Don't think that someone else will. Like, you don't know. It's freaking complicated.
What I'm getting from you is, and most of the people here, is options. You're saying options, and I go by what you're saying is, I feel that we have to know ourselves and our mindset. So I agree with you. Explore options.
Different people are made different. No, I'm just. What he's saying is, different people have different mechanisms.
Yeah.
So what worked for
That's right.
might not work for you. So
That's right. Yeah.
So basically, what he's saying.
Hold on, a moment.
Yeah. So most things will work, but what worked for Dick might not work for Tom.
Yeah.
So that's basically what he's saying, isn't it?
Okay.
Options. Yeah.
Wait, so what works for most people on average?
Can we give him a mic, please?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Watch your foot. Are you insured?
Hello. Yeah, so...
Your name, please?
Yeah, so my...
Too close to the speaker.
I think I'm a bit too close to the speaker.
Okay.
1 second. But yeah, my name's Kojo. My dad passed away from cancer 4 years ago.
Okay.
And I guess similar to some people, he wanted to go with natural methods, but unfortunately, before he could go with the traditional medicines and stuff like that, he passed away.
Okay.
So what I'm interested in is what, on average, works for people.
So you said that he passed away before he could do natural methods?
Yeah.
So was he doing chemotherapy?
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of cancer did he have?
Liver cancer. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think he had hepatitis A and...
Can we have an answer from Miriam? Do you have...
Well, the thing is with chemotherapy is it kills your own cells. So...
Hold on. Is it on?
Yeah. So basically that's why it doesn't work for everybody. So the idea that you can use natural methods in combination with chemotherapy. That I think is the best combination, to be honest. Because let's say, for instance, if you're topping up on antioxidants while taking chemotherapy, of course that's the best, because that protects your cells against all these harmful chemicals that's hitting your normal cells. And then, yeah, trying anything, but of course choosing one or the other, I think that's dangerous, because if you just go with natural, then yeah, you're really restricting yourself. And the same thing, if you just go with chemotherapy or radiotherapy and try nothing else, then you're actually really damaging your body. And as we heard, it has severe side effects.
I wanted to ask Cece something about. Can we get that mic back? What do you think, Cece? I mean, why I want to ask Cece is because she's had a very harsh side effect that I've never seen, right? I had a side effect that they were like, what's happened with this one? But nothing in comparison. So my question would be, how do you feel? Because I'm going to say how I feel after you about chemotherapy and natural. What do you think?
Even though I went through what I went through, I would never tell someone who's going through it, don't do this or don't do that, because like everyone's saying, we are all different, so what works for me may not work for the next person.
Right.
And I tried many different things.
Right.
I didn't just do one thing. I was doing the herbs, I was doing the food, I was doing the mindset, I was doing loads of different things to create a balance in the body. So when you are doing any of the things,
yes,
you have to create a balance in the body. If one thing is out of balance, then it's not going to work.
Right. So, what would be my question? I want to say this, but it's hard for me to say this, but I think I can say this because that's my little sister and we are bonded through cancer, right? When I say that, for those that just came in, we're bonded through cancer because we have shared this experience. I'm not quite sure about how many others, and who's here may have experienced someone going through it, but Leanne and Cece, my thing would be, if you was to go through cancer again.
And I wouldn't have chemotherapy.
But I would.
Would you?
Yeah.
Can you take the mic? Can you explain why?
My mum went through chemotherapy with her breast cancer, 30 years ago. Yeah. And she did have side effects, but she came out and she still lived to tell the tale.
Right.
I believe exactly what you said. It's a balance. I'm fortunate that I had a wonderful mentor that sent me to all these wonderful doctors while I was going through my treatment, all homeopathic doctors and people that don't deal with Western medicine.
Right.
Every single one of them, there's only two, but they were two different ends of the spectrum. They didn't know each other. Both of them even said to me, it's not that they disagree with chemo, they sometimes disagree with the amount of chemo that gets given.
Right.
But one of the things they said take the two. Make sure that you are looking after yourself, you're doing all these things, and they put me on all these different diets and things like that. And then, make sure that you do the chemo. That was what I got advised. And I'd just like to point out, when I actually consented to chemo, I think consenting to chemo is actually one of the bravest things you can do.
Yes.
I think consenting to chemotherapy drugs is one of the bravest things you can do. And I'm telling you something, I got frowned upon from the black community. A lot of people from the black community, why are you taking chemo? Go the natural route. Go the natural route. And I'm like, listen, my mum is here living to tell the tale.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in such a state of shock, anxiety and panic that I've just been diagnosed. I don't have the time to go and research all the different things I need to do and get
the bush and that
to do that. Do you know what I mean? I just didn't
burning the duck in the back.
And you know what else as well? Going down the natural route as well costs money.
Yes, it does.
It
does.
money.
Yes, it does.
If you're not well resourced with that, then you can't do it.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? But
right.
I think people need to be very careful about people that consent to chemo. Everyone's got a choice.
Right.
Don't judge people because they're choosing to do that.
Right.
You know.
So that's
a lot of the people that were telling me don't take chemo have never ever experienced
what you experienced
in their life.
Right.
So that was very key.
Thank you. So I will say why in quickly. My sister did 7 years of chemo every year. I've never seen no one else do anything like that. if someone else can tell me. I've never seen it. So when 5 years in, she's did chemotherapy 5 times, for 5 years, every year, throughout the year. And we know chemo's long, right? The whole year and all of that. And then in her 5th year, I became diagnosed. So I wasn't keen on chemo. I'm like, well, it hasn't, you know, cured her, or it hasn't taken it away. And I wasn't sure myself. But I think you have to be very decisive. You cannot be indecisive with this thing. And I feel like fight with the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Navy SEALs. And that was my thing. I'm gonna drink the bush. I'm gonna, whatever, who's boiling what, give it to me. I'm at chemotherapy. I'm doing it all. Whatever it took to fight, to live, to win. And again, a very positive mind state was important. Or positivity around you. You know, people that care about you, that love you, they need to be around you always. And if that's not around you, because again, it's balance, as you were saying, right? Doctors, balance is important. And the balance of having the right people around you or not. You know, having peace, love, and kindness around you. That I felt that's why I'm here. Because I fought in that manner. Yes, can you? Oh yeah.
Just the reason I actually stopped the chemo was because it was attacking my nervous system.
Right.
Obviously, it had already been shut down from the chemo. So it was choose maybe never, actually definitely 100% never walking again, or stop the chemo. For me, I was 18 years old at the time. So it was about quality of life for me, no quantity. So that is why I made the choice.
Of course. Of course, and like I said, we can just about sympathize, because I can't even empathize with that one. I don't know what that felt like. I know what I went through, what that felt like. Some people, you know, I'm getting a t-shirt that says I made it look easy, because I think I did. But it was hard. It was very harsh, right, guys? It's a harsh treatment to go through, and it takes so much from you. So I want to talk about loss. Right? Because when I say it takes so much from you, when we talk about we lost so many things in that time, right? You lost your speech, you lost your being able to walk, you lost your breast. I lost my breast. Throw that right in, right, girl? She said friends.
Friends and hair.
You lose your hair.
Members. You lose the people that you think are close to you. Yeah.
You lose your fertility. Okay, the mics. Yes, you can. So I know this is deep. This could go on for hours. I want to just take it to Juliet before you're next, my love. Because when we talk about loss, because I want to get everyone to have something to say. And Quadro, we'll be back to you about some of the things that you want answered as well. But loss and what it is you do, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Juliet G. Can I just apologise? Like, if you see me sleeping, I've been up since 5:30. I've been on the radio. So I'm really tired, and I've got to go on the radio tomorrow morning.
We thank you for being here.
So I just apologise. So if you see me sleeping, it's not because I'm bored. It is because
you're exhausted. That's okay.
Okay. My name is Juliet G. I'm a CEO of Crown and Glory Couture Wigs. I make wigs, and the reason why I went into making wigs is because I lost my hair at the age of 12, 13 years old. I kind of like say I was fortunate in a certain sense, because I lost my edges, not my hair, so I was able to disguise it. So my older sister was a hairdresser, and so I was her guinea pig. So I was kind of like really happy, so I was able to disguise my hair for years. When I was in my 40s, then my mid-40s, I kind of like went to the doctors and decided, okay, let me see what they can do. I knew they couldn't really do anything. Let's see if they're going to do anything just in case. Because my edges never grew back. I mean, I lost my hair from when I was 12, 13. And at the age of 46, if it hadn't grown back then there was just no chance that it was going to grow back. So basically, they confirmed what I already knew, but I just thought, let me just see. So on the NHS, they gave me a wig, and the wigs that they provided were not very nice. And it was like, I'm not putting that on my head. No way. That actually looks like a wig. It actually looks quite scary. So I kind of like went down the route, right, okay, I'm gonna learn how to make a wig. And so I went down that route. So I did a bit of research and went on a course, but I wasn't quite happy because the course that I went on over here didn't quite teach me how to make that wig that I wanted to be able to wear. So I had to go to America. So I went to Atlanta during the hurricanes and what have you. That's another story. And I did this crash course, and I spent a whole week, and the Americans, they work. And I was up I started from 10 o'clock in the morning till like 12 o'clock at night. This woman just taught me everything she knew. And I learned how to make the lace frontals, ponytails, you name it, I can make it. So, and that's not hand sewing, it's with a sewing machine. And so she taught me, and so that's how I make my wigs. So the wigs that I wear, the wigs, and if you go on my Instagram or you see my Facebook page, a lot of the wigs are my wigs. I don't style the wigs, I just have, I just make them. I go to a hairstylist who cuts it and styles it for me. And if I get a bit adventurous, then I might just fling on a bit of hair dye, because you can, because it's not my hair, so hey, why not experiment? So that's how I kind of got into wig making. And also going through that journey, I also came across other women that lost their hair, and then they kind of like started talking to me, and it was kind of like a real kind of therapy kind of thing. So, and then I also decided, my moment of madness, because I do things like that, in September, I had a wig show, first wig show ever in England, and it was really successful. So, and we had a really good turnout. And there is a plan for next year, 2019, so September 2019, I will be doing another wig show. So watch out, Instagram, Facebook.
While we're talking about hair, very important, can I just...
Can we pass the mic?
Very, very important. So recently I treated a lady that's covering from chemotherapy. So she's got the all clear from breast cancer, and she appeared on a program, medical program, because she lost her hair, and it was very important, and she was really depressed about it. So they gave her minoxidil, which is basically the standard sort of form of treatment for hair loss. But the thing with minoxidil, if any of you tried it or were to try it, the thing with the minoxidil is that it sort of falls out, so the hair is not permanent. So what happens, your hair will grow, but the minute you stop minoxidil, it will stop, it will fall out. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of plasma or PRP or a vampire facial maybe. So basically, there is actually a treatment for hair loss after chemotherapy, and we do it in the clinic, and it's really effective. If you read it online, it's kind of controversial, but honestly, in my experience, it works amazingly well.
I was about to say, coming down.
Yeah, all of you come down, honestly, or I'll bring my staff and I'll just give you all complimentary treatment. Seriously, see, this is how it can work together. Sure. So basically, it's so what plasma is. So it's your blood, basically, obviously, as you know, and your blood contains everything, your vitamins, your stem cells. So what it does, it stimulates. So we have special, for instance, we've got 7 types of collagen, and collagen type 5 is the only one that grows in the hair follicle, so that's something that it stimulates. It also helps sort of rejuvenate the hair follicle so that it can grow, and it can grow stronger. I've done this on a few you know, kind of people who have recovered from cancer,
Yes.
and honestly, we get amazing results with it. And so this lady actually, when I saw the program, I actually contacted her, and maybe one of the next future events I'll bring her, you can see it. And she, I contacted her, she came over, and I've given her 2 sessions already, and she had just after 1 session, I mean, there was such a visible, she stopped the minoxidil, because I told her to stop it, because when this hair grows, we don't want it to fall out, we don't want the effect of minoxidil to continue. So the whole idea is just to explain what plasma is. You take the blood, you spin it in a centrifuge, and then it just settles, the blood cells settle, and just the plasma remains, and that's what inject into the scalp. Very effective.
Can you please introduce yourself, and can you let them know exactly who you are, what you do?
Okay, so basically, my background, I've done loads of things in the past. So I've got clinical pharmaceutical research, or anything you want, you name it, I've done it. But basically, I've specialized in clinical research recently, and then from there, I've gone into private practice. So I have my own clinic in Harley Street, and I specialize in aesthetics. So we do all anti-aging treatments. But I've always been fascinated by the power of plasma and PRP. I know that even now, today, there are clinics that have actually discovered that even plasma can reverse menopause. So there are 2 clinics at the moment that have started doing clinical trials. That's how powerful plasma is. And also I have colleagues who are surgeons, and now they've started trialing it sort of in Alzheimer's. They've started trialing it in sort of regeneration of tendons, ligaments, that kind of thing. And so it's really, really effective.
And you also started a holistic skincare range?
Yes, yeah, it's called Amana Skincare, and yeah, so we believe that it's you know, I'm very into natural. That's what I really believe. I mean, I've worked in pharmaceuticals. Trust me, I've worked for about 10 years. I've been in medicine, and I totally understand, because the number of chemicals that we're exposed to all the time. I mean, and the kind of effects, this kind of side effects that I see, especially like with skincare, you know, the sensitivity causes, everything that I see all the time, it all comes from what we're using, and it's because of what we're exposed to. So I 100% agree that we totally need to cut out. And honestly, it's only so far, it's been one professor who has actually come out and said, listen, if you use a skincare that is completely organic, which is, to be honest, is very hard to find, because there's only one line, and that's in Japan. It's not even, you know, all this stuff about organic, they're actually not organic. So, because at the end of the day, they will use preservatives in it. So unless you're really going organic, then you're still exposed to chemicals, and you still will develop sensitivity.
Right. Dawn, would you like to, you wanted to say something? And then over to you guys. Yeah, please.
Sorry. Well, you said you were the medicine, the pharmaceutical. Well, apparently I was looking at a YouTube video the other day, and I've heard that 80% of the medicine that we take don't really work. What do you have to say about that?
Can I jump in?
I mean, they said about 10% of 80% of is just sugar.
Can I answer that? So there is so much there is so much selection bias here, and this is really dangerous. So we are a self-selected group here.
Yes.
Who, you've looked at people who tried synthetic treatments for hair loss or whatever, and you are looking at people where it didn't work. The people where it worked did not come to you.
I didn't say it didn't work. No, it worked.
Okay. What side effects?
It's going to fight. It's going to be a fight.
No,
should I get the mic over there?
It's not a fight.
This is good. The doctors.
It's a very important point. Whenever you report something like that, it's really important to appreciate that you're looking at the people who had side effects or where it didn't work. That's why they're coming to you. The people where it worked, they don't come to you. They're leading their happy lives. They don't want to go to doctors. Like, if it worked for you, you're staying home with your partner or with your friends or whatever, you're chilling, right? And you're happy. You're not going to the doctor, you're not going to clinics.
No, this
you know
lady, this lady was never told that if she stops the minoxidil, her hair is going to fall out. This is the problem. My point is that I'm not saying it doesn't. It works, and yes, of course, you need to take medicine. If you have, you know, if you're suffering from something, then of course medicine helps. What I'm saying is that it comes with side effects, and the side effects, and sometimes you don't get the full information. So that's why, like, when this lady came and I said to her, you know, this is the situation with minoxidil. You stop it, you're going to lose your hair. And she was like, oh my God, like the doctor didn't even tell her that. So I'm just saying that sometimes we don't get the full information to make the right decision for ourselves. You know, we are just given things. And like I said, there's, like when we talked about skincare, there is such a huge variety of skincare in the market, but nobody turns around and says, you know, you use this skincare all the time, you're going to become, your face is going to become so sensitive. But it's what I see. So. Oh, in terms of your question, sorry. Okay, to be honest, I don't know what you're referring to. I haven't seen that research. I haven't come across it, so I really I can't comment on that. But if medications used for the right sort of problem issue, whatever it is, yeah, it's not that they don't work. They have effects, of course. That's why there's so much research is done to make sure that these treatments that are provided, they actually do have an effect. Yeah, so there has to be always when research is done, there has to be a significant difference when you compare it to a placebo in order for it to come into the market.
Because they were, I was just trying to compare it with them saying the state of mind. Because according to the, sorry.
Please speak with the mic, guys. The quality.
So it made a little bit more sense to me listening to the video, because now I'm listening to them as well. Because according to the doctor or the professor himself, he said it's more about you getting sick and getting better. It's more about your mental state or your health.
Recently, so did you have any treatments?
Nothing. Not even an aspirin. So I've listened, and because my case is so unique, there is a professor that I'm under, and they still can't really actually work it out. So, sort of listening to everyone, yes, we all have choices, but for me, I didn't even have time to think about what I was going to do, if you understand what I mean, because, you know, the shock of, as far as I'm concerned, my time is just, it's all over. But there was something, I think we all have to, it's not just down to the doctors or, we have to take care of ourselves in a way. I mean, it's been what now, 5 years? I still go back. And there are times I think, oh my God, what's he going to tell me now? But although I've never been in denial, I'm not having it. I'm not interested. And my mindset, yeah, even the second time, when I went back and it was someone else that I was seeing, and they said to me, will you talk me through, you know, what you've been going through for the last 3 years? So I said, no, not really, because I've just had a test. And right about now, I'm quite anxious, so I want to know the results. So she said, well, that's why I'm asking you, because it's all showing clear. So, for me, I want to be able to help and give so much of myself to others, but I'm unsure how to do it, because I can't say to anyone, no, don't have this. All I can do is tell my story. And
that's why Volunteer Through Cancer needs you.
And, I mean, I do speak to people that know my story. There was a lady, I'm going to come off very soon, and she had, I don't know what the cancer's called, but it was a swelling here. And I started to speak to her, went down to Brighton and I saw her. And I said to her, I don't like to push religion on anyone, okay? But as far as I'm concerned, that's where my healing came from. I said, have you ever read the Bible? She said, no, Donna, I'm not really into all that. So I said, yeah, fine. Cut a long story short, I spoke to her about 2 weeks ago, and she said she'd been away, and she's back. She said, but Donna, I want to tell you something. She said, I started to pray, she said, and it was shrinking. It started to shrink. And it was like, I'm not saying that just leave it because God will cure you. No. You also have to take responsibility. But every case is different. You know, I've lost a niece from cancer. I've lost a brother. And my niece's son just recently died from cancer. So I see myself as being so blessed and wanting to go out there and help the world, but I don't really know.
I don't know why you keep saying you don't know. Born to cancer is the answer for you, my love.
Because I'm not saying that, you know, chemo is wrong or this and that. Who am I? I can't really, even my professor, you know, at one point, he was really getting not very nice to me. Like, you know, why aren't you listening to me? No, you're not going to wait a month. You're going to do this now. And I said, you know, I know you really care about me, but please honour my wish. And I'll tell you something. You know, you were saying, like, sometimes you lose friends. Well, I got to a stage where I lost everyone. Friends and family. I was totally alone. Because I realised that they didn't really understand. So I kind of was very still and quiet with it. And I could cry as I sit here because you know what? We see today, we don't see tomorrow, so I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But right about now, I just feel so blessed, and I don't really know what advice to give because everybody's situation is different.
It's not, Dawn. It's not about giving advice. It's just about being supportive. And that's what Wanted Through Cancer speaks about in its entirety. Just being supportive in every situation with someone going through cancer. So I'm going to have Shanae ask a question.
I don't really want to ask a question, actually. I mean, what I wanted to do was basically say thank you to all of you guys that have shared your story, because I'm not somebody who has been around people that have been affected by cancer. What I know of Bonded Through Cancer is my work through Natasha and Bonded Through Cancer. And I'm honoured to be a big part of it, and I've been a part of it for 3 years. So I'm learning a lot from you guys. But one thing I always live by, because I consider myself to be a positive person and mind over matter. So just listening to you guys' stories, that's evident to me that all of you guys are very positive people. So I think we definitely have to take that into consideration when we're talking about not just cancer, but any type of illness, whether it's mental illness, whether it's anything, it plays a big part. And I'm a firm believer in that word impossible. Like, there's nothing impossible, because it actually reads, I'm possible. And from your possible, anything is possible. I don't believe in miracles, because I believe from there's a God and the Most High. Then how can there be miracles when things can happen? So that's how I see things. And I just wanted to touch on what you said. So what was your name? Mariam said. Because I had 4 sisters, the youngest one passed away, so I have 2 sisters now that I live in. So there's 3 of us. And out of all of us, I'm the fittest. I've never had an illness. Even when my family think I'm stressed out, they're like, go to the doctors because you're gonna have high blood pressure, or you've got cholesterol, they're always throwing illness on me. If I blink, because there's never anything wrong with me. The minute I have a twitch, need to go to the doctor. There's nothing wrong with me. So what you said, strikes a chord with me, because my mum always says, when I was pregnant with you, I went off meat, I went off cheese, my mum was a vegan when she was pregnant with me. Exactly. And I'm 48 years old, so back then you can imagine that the food was better. We weren't eating processed food. The veg wasn't chemicalized. Do you know what I mean? It was all good food. And my mum said she didn't, and I've got an appetite. I can't eat chicken on the bone. I mean, I practically don't eat any meat now anyway, but I've taken everything from my mum. Now, my two sisters, one of them has eczema, the other one has asthma. They suffer with so many different illnesses, and I don't have any of it. So I actually believe there's something in there. Now, had I thought about this before I had my daughter, 28 years ago, I would have eaten better. But I lived on chicken burgers and all kinds, but already my immune system was built up to a standard where food never affected me. But looking at my daughter now and all the illnesses that she has and what she's going through, I kind of feel bad about that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's always been in the back of my mind that the way I ate had something to do with what she's going through now. So,
but unfortunately, the government, they don't promote it.
Absolutely.
That is the key, you know.
And just to add on to that, for me, it's like it's just basically on what Dawn is saying. We are the owners of our bodies, and if we actually sometimes stop, take a stance, stop, and just listen. Our bodies tell us what we need. It's quite simple. And I'm just going to end by this. I travel a lot. And when I was younger, every time I got on the plane, I always came back sick, sneezing, the flu and whatever. And I was like, this ain't going to happen again. So I've been traveling for quite a bit for the last couple of years. Before I get on that plane, I talk to my body. I talk to my white cells, I talk to my organ, I talk to my liver, and I'm like, you're not going to get sick, you're not going to get the flu. I speak to my body. I take garlic as well, but I speak to my body. And I remember I got on the plane and everyone was sneezing, everyone was coughing, and I did not stop. I went underneath my blanket and I prayed and I prayed and call it prayer, call it meditation, whatever you want, but I spoke to my body. And when I got home, my daughter said, oh, you're going to be sick, and nothing touched me. Everyone came off that plane sneezing and whatever. There's even been times where I've been around my family and they've got flus and all of that, and you're going to get it, you're going to get it. And I talk to myself because I cannot afford to take time off and be sick because I do my own thing. So I just wanted to leave everyone with that. I do think chemotherapy, like what you said, it's a balance. Everything is a balance. And I think, again, as well, in what we eat and what we do, everything in moderation. But start listening to your bodies. We need to start listening. Just take some time. Just be still and listen to your bodies.
Thank you. Can I, oh, a little clap. We've got a little clap. Yes, let's clap. Can I ask if you know when you say you talk to your body? Excuse me, miss, are you on the phone?
Sorry.
Do you know when you ask, when you say speak to your body, is that like when people say speak to plants and the plant grows and stuff?
Yeah, there you go.
Is that true?
Did you not see the thing on YouTube the other day?
No.
So, okay, I'll just tell you this quickly. So basically, it's about anti-bullying. So what they've done, they've got two plants, okay, exactly the same. They're not grown or anything. So they put one plant over there and one plant over there. They had one set of pupils that would go to one plant and say, you're disgusting, you're horrible, you're nasty, you're not going to grow, you're going to be horrible, there's something about you, look at you. So this is what they were saying to this plant. Then they went to the other plant, exactly the same. You're such a beautiful plant. You're so lovely. When you grow, you're going to blossom. You're going to be nice and green. You can find it on YouTube and on the internet. And they looked. They done this for about a month, I think it was. And when you went back, the plant that they were being horrible to was like just down, dead, nothing. The plant that they were speaking to and loving had grown into this beautiful plant. So that speaks volumes. I'll send it. I've got the link on my phone, so I'll send it to Tash, and I'm sure she's got all of your details, and you can see that. So and it really isn't that amazing. It's just the fact that everything is possible. Do you know, in the grand scheme of things, when we look at it like that, it's just possible. So for me, we can talk to our bodies. We can nurture our bodies ourselves.
Oh, yes.
I've run everybody out.
Everyone's leaving now. No. Cut, Leanne. Make sure you cut these pieces out. Thank God we're not live. We can cut, right? Keep live in this one. Right. Have a good evening. You guys get home safe. So, Darlington, are you leaving? No. Great. You're leaving? Not yet. Oh, okay. Can we get on the couch so we can puff it in a little bit now? Come on. We got more questions and stuff. I know, you got to run anywhere soon.
Got a little time still.
Come on, get on the couches, guys.
Well, hour still. Hour.
All right, that's all right. Probably less than. Damn, took the train somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, he's gone?
Yeah, he said.
He's coming back?
Yeah. He said he's taking the train. I was like, okay. Is everyone okay? Yeah, get some fruits and veg. Get some fruits and veg. We're at the right platform, Banks. Yes, it's organic. My back. This is amazing, guys. Don't you think? I just saw, please dig in, take the bananas home. I'm taking all this. I don't eat meat. I don't eat meat. Yeah. Well, I feel like, should I get some, let me refill. Do you want to refill? Should I refill? More, does anyone want more juice? Should I get more juice? Apple juice? Should I fill? Let me fill them up. This is amazing. Miriam, I just love you. Thank you. Oh my God. I love everyone anyway. Is everyone filled in? Okay, I think that's Diane's chair. You guys feel a little crushed up now. Come on over and get some chairs over here. We don't want the crunch up. That crunch up don't look good. Come on. Get them on a few of these. Come on, come on, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Come, crunch up on. Can you want to get over here? Diane, come next to Pamela. Give them some room. Best. Move your bum down. They look crunched up on this end. Yeah, relax. You know, recline. That's how we want it to look, at least. I might go into the hot seat now. Are you still rubbing live, Leon? You get on my nerves. They're supposed to, that's like the bloopers. You know, at the end of the movie, and everyone, you're like, you're laughing and all of that, but they cut it, and you still got the camera rolling live. Oh, so the world sees me with all my flaws.
Reality.
Reality TV, huh? Okay, I like that. Perfectly flawed.
I love that.
Oh, you're drunk.
That was a liar. Thank God my manager's gone. Stop making a mess now. Right. So,
in Canary Wharf.
Leanne and Cece, I love you. Right. Thank you. We'll do this again.
Bye, guys. See you later.
Bye. Look, everyone says bye. Bon voyage. Arrivederci.
God damn.
Hasta la vista. Hold on, let me get some tissue. Okay, so what should we do now, guys? So is this where I start talking about what are you guys gonna contribute? Leon still got it rolling. I just keep forgetting about this dude. Is this where I start talking about that? Diane, would you like to speak? Yes, please. Get the cameras over there.
Okay, I've listened to everyone about cancer, and it's about cancer. Everything boils down to proper nutrition. But some people don't know how to achieve that. So from the cooking, I visit homes, I cook in front of families, and every household that I've been to, they don't know the right technique to cook. First of all, they peel the foods, have it on high temperature, use in the microwave. So at the end of the day, you're not getting anything from what you're eating. And food is not like what it used to be, even 20 years or 10 years ago. It's depleted. So if you're going to use the microwave after you finish cooking at 100 degrees, you've lost all the nutrients. Then you go and microwave it. So it's different factors now. We're in a war zone when it comes to cancer. It's not just the food, it's the pollution, it's the mobile phones, it's what's in the home, all these negative energies enter in the bodies, okay? So there are certain things that people need to know. What is ORAC? So when I have 2 cancer patients right now, I go to people's home and I go through the dots and I connect the dots. Tell them about what is ORAC. Do you all know what is ORAC?
Please, can you tell them what's the ORAC, please? Explain what ORAC
is. It
is.
is very imperative to know what that word means. It means oxygen, radical, absorbance, capacity. So they say you should eat like a king in the morning, eat like a queen, and a pauper in the evening.
All right, I'm just going to stop you. Can you come back to ORAC?
Yes.
When you say ORAC, what do we know about ORAC? What do we?
Right. ORAC means.
Why should we know about ORAC? What is it?
Because it's crucial. It says the daily allowance that we should have, the vitamins, minerals, etc., what we eat. Food's supposed to be our medicine, but you're not getting any medicine. So you need at least 7,300 daily for each of us adults. But you're not getting it from what you're eating. So I've got a superfood. It's called the Rain Soul. It's made from black cumin seeds, raspberry, grape with the Chardonnay. It's got D-ribose in it. The doctors might know what D-ribose.
What's it called?
Rain Soul. So 1 pouch of Rain Soul is equal to 8 to 10 portions of veg, 8 to 10 portions of fruit, and 3 to 5 portions of the omega fatty acids, 3, 6, and 9. So whatever you eat during the day, from morning till the night, you haven't exceeded 7,003. So we top up with a pouch of the Rain Soul, which is 8,990. People should also know what is carcinogenic when they eat meat. There's different phrases that they need to know. Okay? So it's a dot. We're in a war and you need the right weapons to fight. The people are not equipped with the right things, like the water. They're drinking bottled water. Some have met, they're not drinking water at all. When I ask them, have you drank any water? No, they're drinking juice. The body is made up of water, and not any old water will do.
So can I ask a question? I like this one. So when it comes to, I know you're a superfood guru, as I like to call you, and you really know about that alkaline, the levels, the pH balance, and where we should be. Now, I know that you, again, yourself and Pamela are distributors of alkaline water machines, yes? So my thing is, if I do not have the money to purchase my machine right now, and I go into the shop and I want to start the journey on how to alkaline my body, what pH balance should I look for on the bottle of water in the shop? Because right now I can't afford this machine, so I want to start the journey. So what level should I look for when I look on the bottle? Because on the side of the bottle it shows you a pH balance. Now the higher is the better, yes? And
but as Pam will say,
yes,
if it has a higher pH in the bottled water, it's been on the news, it's in the newspaper that bottled water is acidic because of the container it's in.
Oh.
It's plastic,
so,
it's not microclustered, it hasn't got any electrons, it's just dead water.
But what should I do? I can't afford my machine. So what do I do? Which pH doesn't make any sense? Do I look for the bottle, Perrier, or the bottled water, the glass bottle? Does that make it better? Will that make it better?
I appreciate what you're saying. The best one to drink is the source water. So it's like Evian or like Highland Springs. They've got the highest pH. But as Diane's saying, even though that is better than the rest, it still has its limitation, because there was a thing on the news where they found microscopic plastic in the bottle itself. So the problem is the plastic. Because I actually know somebody who went to Cuba, drank bottled water, and nearly lost his life, because when they tested him, it was the plastic had leaked. The stuff in the plastic had leaked into the water, and nearly lost his life. So that's the problem with bottled water, because it's not regulated as it should.
I just wanted to ask a question, because I went to an organic shop the other day, and they have alkaline water, and its pH level is 9. So it's a really, I haven't seen 9 yet, but it's a really good one. So we all went crazy and was buying it. But then I was like, but how does that make sense? Because it's in a plastic bottle. Like, why would you have a health nutrition shop, do alkaline water at 9 and then put it in a plastic bottle? So we were all, the group that I was with, we were all querying it. So then on the bottle it says something about, I can't remember, it was better.
Yeah.
PBA free. PBA, yeah. So that's what I wanted to know. So what does that mean? Because then that person was saying to me, then if it's in that bottle, it's fine.
PBA, is it polybiphenol? Is a very long, complicated name. It basically means that it doesn't break down as some of the others do. But like anything, because if it's 9, it will eventually break it down as well. Yeah, you're right. It should have been in a glass bottle. But the thing that we talk about is not just the pH level. The pH level is one thing, it's the ionization. That's what helps the cell. Basically the body will heal itself, but you've got to assist it. Giving it the right stuff. I mean, we all hear doctors say drink 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. That's because we need to flush out the toxins. We need to flush out all the rubbish and stuff that we eat. Because the toxins build up, and then that can help to cause all the problems in
Can I just
body.
add something really important? And I just want to educate everybody, and I'm playing the devil's advocate a little bit here, but we can't help how our body is made and what will happen. And like I say, because I don't know, to be honest, the full facts of alkali water, but one thing I do know is the chemistry in the blood. So basically, we have a very fine balance in the blood. The way blood regulates is pH. It's basically something we call hydrogen carbonate. So which is the carbon dioxide that you breathe. It basically combines with water, and then it forms hydrogen carbonate. And then that can split, and it can form hydrogen ions and HCO2 minus negative ions, which this, by releasing the hydrogen plus ions, it kind of changes the pH, so either makes the blood more acidic or alkali. So therefore, what I'm saying is that it depends on the amount of carbon dioxide in the blood. So basically, the body has a way of regulating the body pH, the blood pH, by changing the way you breathe. Now, changing the way you breathe affects the amount of oxygen you take in. I just want to put it out there that if you're taking supplements or whatever that's changing the pH of your blood, especially if you're talking about pH 9, just please be careful, because if you're affecting your body, if you make it too high or too low, the pH, that can start to affect your breathing rate, because your body will try to bring it back and it will try to balance it.
Again, it's about balance.
The only way to balance it is, the only thing that the body can do is by changing the way you breathe. The way changing the way you breathe will in turn affect the amount of oxygen. If you're taking in too little oxygen or too much oxygen, you're actually doing yourself harm, because oxygen too little can cause free radicals. So you may be taking the alkali water or whatever, you may be changing the pH of your blood thinking that it's doing you good, but it may be that if it's not right for you and your body starts to try and balance itself, you may actually be doing more harm, just to put it out there.
So again, it's all about balance. It's about knowledge.
Do it in moderation. Like, what I'm saying is that don't just drink alkali water all the time.
Right.
Because that's just making your blood too alkali, and it's not right, to be honest.
So just to piggyback, it's so important for balance. And not only is the important balancing act, it's about gaining this knowledge, having these events, having these platforms for us to be able to convey this information, right? I mean, where do you go except Bonding Through Cancer's platform and find doctors that piggyback the holistic nutritionist and give you the scientific views? Where else does this happen? So please support Bonding Through Cancer. Do not forget that this is a platform that's so unique and different that no one will get this information unless we convey it.
As I was saying now,
yes,
as Pam said, it's not just one thing. So when I go out to people's home,
yes,
it's more than one thing. They have to change their mindset and go on a different lifestyle. Okay? So it's to do with the foods. So I've spent years and go to other people's presentation to learn the colors of food. There are foods out there which are cancer killer foods. But the thing is, people don't know it. Colors, orange, yellow, what is this, what is it? They need to know colors. When they go shopping into the supermarkets, they need to know what is in that one, carrot, beta-carotene. They need to know what is in the blueberries. They don't know that.
I'm only going to interject. When you say that they don't know, is because the knowledge is not always available. And this is, again, why I do Bonding Through Cancer's Health Dream Team events. Everyone that is speaking today, mostly everyone here is from the panel. And this is why. It's important for us to do this so they can have this information. You know, without us doing this, then where do they get it from? In depth, like you're saying. You know, it's easy for us to say, they don't know, she doesn't know, he doesn't know, but how do they get to find out this info? So again, I'm gonna keep on saying, please support Bonding Through Cancer, the Health Dream Team. Oh.
No, I was just saying carrot.
Okay.
There are a lot of people have debate on carrot, you know, because people want to find out where did it come from.
It's a made food, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lab fruit. It's a lab vegetable.
Hybrid.
It's a hybrid. Is it a hybrid, Leon?
It was made in a lab. It was cloned. Yeah, it was made in a
Leon,
lab.
is it a hybrid?
You cannot throw down a carrot and it grow.
I didn't know carrot was a hybrid.
The orange ones that are about nowadays. The heirloom ones come in various different colors.
But carrots are made in lab. Carrots, cabbage, they're lab. He didn't know that. Only
Hold on, hello. Let's bring it back. Can we, either you're going to speak with the mic or you're not going to speak at all.
What we're trying to do is, apart from cancer, is nutrition. It's how you prepare the food. People don't know what the metals they're cooking in that contributes to their problem. Like people don't know, certain people don't, you need to know the metals because everyone cooks from a metal.
Okay, that's really important because I see them, you know, there's this the copper pans that and they say it's non-stick, you don't need to put any oils.
Yes, Teflon, is it Teflon?
Yeah,
the
please
Teflon?
do not, the copper ones, please do not use them.
The copper pots?
Yeah.
My whole kitchen is copper.
No, do not use copper. Copper is the key.
Is it the name copper or the copper color?
The metal copper.
Oh, right, okay. I get what you're saying, which is not that great anyway, because Diane wants to get me the pot.
Yeah, so what I'm saying as well, we're trying to urge the families, because what it is, food hasn't got much nutrition these days. Fake food is happening, right? So if you're going to go to war with certain pots, I've been into people's home, I cook with them and I do pollution tests. And some people, like our Jamaican, our Caribbeans, I love my Dutch pot. I'm going to die with my Dutch pot.
Yes.
By the time I'm finished cooking in titanium, I want to urge people that switching from those other cookware or pots to the titanium is cheaper. The cookware that they're currently using not only putting toxins and metals back into their body, right, is bitter. So what people are looking for is flavor. They're not looking for the nutrition. So when we're cooking, we show them why we don't peel, where to look for the nutrition from underground foods, above the, in the center, the core, the temperature to cook it at, because if they're steaming and boiling at 100 degrees, they clean everything. So we show them to cook at 86 degrees. It's a pasteurizing temperature. But you must top up with superfoods.
Right.
You have to top up these days. So what I've done, I've sourced all the best. I've got testimonies where there's cancer. And what I don't like with the cancer patient who goes on chemotherapy, the doctors or the oncologists don't know what state their immune system is at. And because I got someone right now, her sister is going through chemotherapy, and I'm helping them. I'm seeing her tomorrow, right? And their immune system is low. And they go and put this chemotherapy straight into that.
Well, what it is, what happens with the doctors is they're doing what they can, right? So, I mean, I don't know if they have enough time to be able to deliver this, which is important to me, and that's why, you know, we're stepping into the hospitals as much as we can, so yourselves on the team can be able to convey this information. But the doctors are not able to give all of that information. It's just not in their scope, which is not great to say, because individually, they don't know what state your immune system is, because there's no testing around that. While you're going through chemotherapy or before you start the chemo, before they start chemo, it's not something, I'm not quite sure how they would test that. I'm not quite sure, I'm not a doctor. How would they? How could they? So, that is the problem. I mean, what they're gonna do is they're gonna, their thing is to give chemotherapy, right? 100%. It is what it is. But that's again why it's important for people to gain knowledge. Knowledge is key. And knowledge is power. And if we don't have these platforms and come together to convey this information, and thank God we are having it videoed right now, so we can give it out to the masses, there's no way that we're gonna be able to find that balance. But I think with these kind of platforms, we can create some kind of balance between the doctors and between ourselves.
I think the key thing, honestly, is test your vitamin and minerals. The level of vitamin and minerals. So what you were saying about in terms of how do you know about if you have a low immune system, to be honest, it's very difficult to differentiate in cancer, because cancer is all about low white cells and that kind of thing, and which obviously then that's your immune system as well. So if it's low, is it because of the cancer or is it because of the immune system? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So in that case, you won't be able to tell. But if you test you can. I mean, this is the issue. The issue is that with NHS, they cannot do this more sophisticated test because it costs money.
Where do we go?
Yeah.
Where do we go for
this?
these?
They do. Privately, you can get this done.
Private.
So literally, I think everybody should have, to be honest, after what I watched last night, and the more and more after what I hear and what I've learned, it's all to do with your level of vitamins and level of, because like I say, vitamins is what helps to switch on certain genes. That vitamin deficiency is what certain genes get.
So my question again to you now, you said that's private. I can get this tested.
You can go everybody. You can go and get your vitamin profile, you can get your mineral
profile. But that
profile.
might be a little bit hard sometimes for someone low income. And especially when you're now diagnosed with cancer, that's what happens. If you're not wealthy, well off to do, then what happens is you're now diagnosed with cancer. You're now become low income, you're on benefits, you're in that kind of state. So that is not again available. So is that something you do?
I do, but the tests are so expensive.
Expensive, okay.
They're really, because like I say, it's not as simple. Like it's not just, the equipment they use to analyze the blood is not the same as like if you were just to take a blood test and just check the cells, because you're going so specific,
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you then, is it so the doctors cannot tell us this information because NHS won't. These tests are so expensive. So anyone out there that can sort us out some funding, we would like to be able to, because this is something simple. Something simple as just checking to see your vitamin levels, vitamin, potato, these levels. It's something simple, but at the same token, it's very expensive. So we need to find an answer to this. And this is why we have this platform. Again, I'm not going to stop plugging Wanted Through Cancer, because we need to find an answer on how we can source funding do some kind of research, get some kind of funding in to just be able to have people come to have this test done. Because then that test shows, back to Diane, the level of their immune system, and then we know they're good, they're okay to take chemo, or they can. Yes. They're strong enough to take chemo, right? And then we can give them the chemo. But if they're not strong, then we need to be boosting their immune system with getting that ORAC up. Superfoods, the ORAC, I'm learning the words. And getting in the water.
There is two very simple way of doing it, but it's not to do with, it's not specific like doing the vitamin and mineral test. I mean, the easiest ways is one, which is something that again I try and do in the clinic, is again with the plasma. From the plasma color, you can tell how healthy somebody is. That's one thing. And then the second thing is that there is things that there's like a machine that can measure your antioxidant level. But again, this goes with, because beta carotene, we were talking about carrots. Beta carotene is, or antioxidants, is orange. So what it does, it measures the level of like orangeness of your body. So it's very non-specific, but it's a very sort of a general indicator kind of.
So is this isn't that expensive?
I mean, when we do plasmas, which I'm happy to do for everybody, then we can measure the
So again, this is why my lovely Dr. Mariam is a part of the Health Dream Team, because we are going to combat this thing one way or another. We are going to, if we got to send them all down to Harley Street, everyone, come on. Everyone that needs this test, just get on down to Harley Street. It's cheap. Cheap is sweet, you know what I'm saying? But at the same token, it's very important. This is very important stuff, guys. I joke and I laugh a little bit because I like to keep it a little bit uplifted. But at the same token, this stuff is very serious to me. And it's very important that we find answers. Bonding Through Cancer, I say, is the answer. And I'm always looking for an answer to be able to answer someone's question. Answer something simple as that, to know how their immune system is before they should go and be happy to say, yes, give me the chemo. And I did chemo, so I understand. But God gave me this great immune system that I was never sick. I'm never sick anyway. So, thank God for the immune system. I don't know how it all was up. I need to eat properly, but that's another story.
Sorry.
Yeah? So go ahead, guys.
Sorry, can I just ask, when you say it's expensive, are we talking thousands or are we talking hundreds? 200, 300?
No, actually, it's like 150 something like that.
Oh, okay, I think for your health, you can't. I think, like, even on a low income, you can't put a price on your health because, low income families also, and this is, well, I'm kind of probably being stereotypical, but I'm just going to say it. I have friends that earn on the higher bracket, and I have friends that are on a lower income, and they don't live any differently. They've got the same PlayStations, do you know what I mean? They're eating the same takeaway, and more than likely they'll spend 50 quid on takeaway a week. So if you're talking about saving that 50 quid every week and having £200 to do that test, I know what I would choose.
But it's fundamental, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Because you need to know that information in order to move on. So this is why I wanted to ask, how expensive is it? So far out of people's reach.
For like 1,000, you could actually have a whole range of like genetic tests, to basically determine exactly, if you will ever get any cancer, because it just detects a whole range of genes.
I think it's that thing, know better, do better. Do you know what I mean? When you know better, just do better. And I think a lot of people wait until the last minute when they get that result, and then they want to start kicking into action. But we just need, as people, need to say, whether black or white, whatever, just say, start fixing yourself now. You take time with your car, you valet it, you clean it, you do the maintenance. You need to do the same thing with ourselves. No better, do better.
Yeah. To be quite honest with you, I think everybody here is quite correct. And I also think there has to be a balance of everything. Now, when there's a problem, there has the solutions, and there's quite a few solutions to every problem. Now, why I'm saying this is, if in the first place you actually had a protection in the first place, you would not really need anything like going, looking for funds for doing immune system or for checks, because if you had things like critical illness cover, which a lot of people then again avoid, especially in the black community, because they don't understand, because a lot of people think, oh, this is expensive, it's so expensive that we can't afford it. But then you're looking at nothing 50p less to a pound a day, depend on how much you're looking to get. Why I'm saying this is because, as much as a lot of people don't understand that finance is really, really important in this country, whatever we want to do. Now, for you to actually actualize yourself, I don't know if you guys have heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Yeah. Now, Maslow says, on the bottom is self-protection. Now, what are you doing to self-protect yourself? Because you know that these things might come or it will happen. What if it does? Because right now, the other lady that came here saying there's rising young women and also young men, especially black men at the age of 49, you will really need to get a portrait. Now, what does that mean? That tells you that these things are around. So as much as you're trying to balance your food diet, which is correct, and as much as you're trying to eat healthy, have enough exercise, it's also good to also have those kind of things in place, because you never really know when they're gonna hit you. So if the next black man around the corner from you, or they're telling you, chances are by the time they hit 40, they're gonna have prostrate. You're looking at yourself as a person, as an individual as well, thinking, well, if I'm gonna hit 40, it might come. So, but what am I doing now to make sure that when I hit 40, if it does come, I do have something about it? Because what people don't get it, 68% of the people that live in the UK are poor people. So what does that mean is that they just one paycheck away to being bankrupt. So balancing finance is also important. You get me? So it's not easy to afford every other thing at every other time, especially when you do have news like that. When you have news like that, you can't balance yourself. So when you get stressed, which will be one of the things that will kick in when you get news like that, and you don't have finances, more stress will kick in. So how are you going to actually recover from cancer if you're having that kind of doubt of balance in your head? So, right. Everything needs to be put into consideration. That's my own,
it does.
Point of view.
I wanted to ask, I know we've had a lot of experience in this room. For those that are not part of my panel, do you have any questions? What was your name again, my love? Quadro, you asked the question earlier. Can you just refresh us on that question? Can we pass him the mic, please? Thank you.
So I think my question was, what is the best way for somebody to be tackling cancer?
Oh, okay. So, we've gone quite...
Yeah, I know we've gone past that now.
Right.
So I guess a bit of feedback.
Only when you get it.
Yeah. So
a combination of both medical
and
holistic treatment.
Yeah, because what I'm saying is, since that question, there's been so many more answers or other questions thrown out there, and the panel, the team, they've been answering. Has it given you any clarity on that same question, or is there more that you need to ask?
I think the point you're raising about finance, I think that's very important, because I guess one of the things after my father passed away is that it was a lot of money being spent. You're spending money on funeral costs and clothes for funerals and all of these things. Fortunately, my mother was in a position where she was able to handle it, but if she wasn't, yeah. So my mom's quite financially clued up. So, but how would the average, I guess, person, and especially black person, handle the situation?
They don't always. That's the problem. They're not always able to. Okay, I'll speak personally. So I'm diagnosed. Before being diagnosed, I had my own business. Now I'm diagnosed. I can't work. I can't think. I'm now on benefits. From benefits now, I private rented, and from that situation, we went into where the landlord wanted to sell his home. Nothing to do with me. Just his moment in his life he wants to sell. I'm now homeless with a port in my chest. I am moving around, packing stuff, and having to move home. It's the low income situation becomes a problem, you know, and I don't think there's an answer in terms of how do you get through that, being in a low income place, other than still having the information about the food you can eat, having the information from the doctor to have that test before I go, you know, spend that 150 pounds and go and check my immune system or my vitamins to see if I can take on board chemotherapy. There's no answer to the low income situation that you may be placed in. However, I can only speak again for myself and why I do what I do, because we've bonded through cancer. I'm not clear if everyone in here knows what we do. We send our volunteers to the hospital to sit with you through your result day and scan day, most importantly, chemotherapy. We then make sure you eat something. Again, because of the financial deficit you may be undergoing, the thing for me going through it myself was to say that if I can avoid you having to think about where this money's coming from for your food, or you know, and just having that support there, I'm doing what I can to alleviate the burden of not having the money and not having support. And the more people make a move to do something in that, because I mean, it had to been money dropped out the sky for that low income situation to change. At that moment, it wasn't changing. I had to go through it, you know. So there's so many people low income. I said homeless. I had someone dealing with immigration. I also, Diane knows, we go out and feed the homeless, right? Operation Homelessness, we found cancer patients in the street. So can you tell me how they're gonna get through chemo? I mean, the diagnosis and sleeping rough. I'm still in a nice warm house fighting that. Low income, wherever it is, whether it's in a shack or whatever the council is giving me. But what I'm saying is now, so that question is really hard to answer. How can we can't really eliminate the low income situation. We can have information, I'm sorry, I'm coming, Diane. We can have information as to taking steps, right, to get yourself in a better way with financial situation. We take steps. Get your insurance in place in the event something happens to you. Get down and get the doctor down to Harley Street and have that test done to see what your immune system is looking like, or how they can check into that. You know, eat the right foods to free the free radicals and get the ORAC levels up. There's so many things we can do. So we're not without. We may be low income, but we're still not without the knowledge. And again, I'm not going to stop saying, bonded through cancer. This is why we do what we do. This is why this platform is available. And the more people come on board, the more people support me, the more funding I do get, is the more we can alleviate the low income situation in terms of how you get through your diagnosis with no money. I will just quickly again say, going through chemotherapy on low income, you hardly are eating correctly, because chemotherapy is one day. You go through chemotherapy one day, and not one day, maybe it's once a month. I went through every 3 weeks. I went once every 3 weeks. It's 1 hour, right? However, for that 1 hour of chemo, I had to been at the hospital 3 days. So I had to go for bloods, then I had to go and flush my port, then I had to receive the chemotherapy. By that third day, you're running out, you're spending money, you're getting there, the taxis, the low income thing is just, you're at the bottom of the pit. That's how you can feel, you know? So until people, corporations, businesses, organizations, councils, NHS, get on board with people like ourselves and platforms like this to support us, that's going to be the only way I can see we can make a change for someone that will now be low income.
Thank you.
Amen, Natasha.
Oh, God, I feel like I start preaching.
You're quite right, because if we could get some funding from, organizations, and we will, the number of cancer patients, because we're the teachers.
Yes.
We're going to show them. We're not going to tell you
what
to do. We're going to show you killer foods. Prevention is better than the cure. So we're going to show you each day when you wake up what you do for your body. Just like brushing your teeth. You wouldn't rush out the street without brushing your teeth. So in the morning you wake up, you drink your water, and you have your breakfast, blah, 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 blah. You need to know when you're sleeping at night, different organs are removing the waste and toxins. So come the morning, the body needs the water first thing. Water energizes us and things like that. But we've got the most important superfoods, killer foods for you all.
Yes.
So I need more people on board with me so we can teach and reach out to council.
Yes.
We've got a formula.
Yes.
Yes, and like Pamela here, she knows a member of the family that we had the cancer with, and she knows what we do. We just go in there and boost up the immune system. Within 4 months, that cancer is gone.
Yeah.
It's the immune system, how you eat. You have to think what you're putting inside of you. You might say, I love meat, but you need to know what meat does. It's acidic, especially now. Not only
is it acidic.
Nowadays, it's very acidic.
Not only, it's what they feed them.
What they feed. And this year, in particular, we had that. This year in particular, we had a very hot summer. So people have to know what is sticky cells. When your cells are sticking together and not moving in the body, I've seen it under the microscope, they're just clogged together, they're not moving. If your cells are deflated, I will show you how as well, how to get them inflated and separated. Because the cells are your police or soldiers in the body.
Right.
So if you don't feed them and water them properly, when invaders come in, they cannot protect you.
Right.
So we're going to show the communities how we do that.
Okay.
We've got the weapons to do.
The weapons of
We're
warfare.
at war.
We're at war.
So each one teach one.
Yes.
When I'm on the street, ask everybody. I walk the streets.
Yes.
Thousands of miles. I go to people's home. I got testimonies. People with arthritis, I tell them, the seniors, why they have it.
Right.
And I'm treating some of them, and they're going out walking. Hello, Mrs. So-and-so, have you got any pain today? No, dying. Because I say, from the water you've been drinking is acidic. So over the period of time, you're probably not drinking enough, but the water from the tap, the molecules, they need to know what these things, and I teach them that. I said, tap water, the molecules are too big, right? And the water is heavy. So it does not go into the cells to flush out the acidity. Right. I've got people with back problem. I show them how to reverse diabetes. It's all it boils down to one thing. How you take care of the body, how you feed it, and the right procedure.
Can I ask you something quick?
Yes.
Just a quick question. Sorry, I don't want to mic.
Yes.
Sorry. So I just have to ask you one question.
Yes.
So I'm in full agreements with you with going natural. Like I brought my kids here today because I'm wearing a path of going natural.
Yes.
Unfortunately, as you all can see, I have permed hair, but I'm going back natural.
Yes.
Just for the sake of my kids and
That's
showing
it.
them the better way to do things.
Yeah.
As well as, but for me, I feel like you've got a bigger battle than just introducing everybody else. Like systematically, it doesn't benefit our government for people like you to help. So for me, how do you plan to? What's your intentions in?
My intention is to have a wellness, a well-being center where people come in and we're going to teach them.
Okay, but as you know, we live in a system where if the government doesn't like something, that's getting shut down. Unfortunately,
it doesn't matter because right now, the health situation is costing the NHS too much money. So it's not just doctors telling patients, go home and eat healthy. They don't know.
So we teach them.
I disagree with you. I think they know, but there's certain things we as a society, us as black people, I'd say mainly, are not supposed to know certain things because they see it as we are supposed to be kept in our places, let's say.
No, what I'm doing, I'm reaching out to all communities. Yes, we are all affected in all communities. It's not about a black or white. So I go out into the communities. So my intention is to get groups of people, educate them, so they can teach others. There is a procedure to everything.
What it boils down to, I mean, I hear you, you know, on the systematic side of things. And what I've learned in all of this is you have to make a difference. Simple. So I don't wait, and we cannot wait for what the government's saying, because it's a bit of a hierarchy, right? They're all the way up there. What changes are we making on ground zero? And that's what I'm about. You know, because we can talk about what's happening and what they're not doing and what they're stopping us from doing, but they didn't stop this.
No, but I have to ask her that, yeah, and let me tell you why, because a lot of what I heard you lot say is about teaching, like, I'd say I more heard it in the sense that you're talking about teaching more adults about it, but for me, it's not the adults you need to teach. Yeah. It's the children we need to teach. I deal with
the youth as well.
Only reason why... No, I know you do. I know what you do. You know I know you, and I know your thing. Do you understand? But I'm just thinking in the sense of, like fully in respect of you, you're an older woman, but how do you transpire that to younger people?
Well, from 2011, right, we're just putting this together. So we've done the foundation. So now I need more people to train, to teach. And my intention too is to go to the schools.
It's more people to support her. You know, when she says 2011, what she's saying is, since then, it's about doing the groundwork to know what she's saying before she can go and convey it to the masses, let's say.
I met Natasha.
So she's in that place now where the attachments to bonded through cancer, right? I know. I love you. And I will give you a call. You gotta cut that, Leanne. Right? You know, okay, so we're all the way off for a second. So Marianne, my love, I'll give you a call. I'll get you the footage. We shall speak. Thank you so much. Right, so it's about the groundwork that she's done, yeah, and any of us, that's what's important. So we know what we're talking about when we get out there. And then it's the attachments that we make with people that can make the difference. You know, I'm not only getting into the hospitals, the NHS. I'm also going into the schools. So, you know, sometimes you have to be strategic, right? So we go in for one thing and we do something else as well. Do you see what I'm saying? Because I'm reaching out to the young people. I work with the young people as well, bonded through music. And it sounds all musically inclined, and then we talk to them about foods that they're eating, and so forth and so forth. And then we bring someone like Diane in to now be able to give that information on a higher scale. So it's about the strategies that, you know, we have to use and not allow the systematic governments and all of that stop us. You know what I mean? And I know where you come from and why you're asking those questions. I just wanted to be
a bit of devil advocate.
That's right.
I work with a lot of other people. I used to be a youth worker.
That's right.
And for me, it's very important what you're saying. And I love to see how some people are going to kind of come back to tell me how you expect to do that. Because a lot of people, I've been to a few things where some people can't answer that question.
Right.
And it really lets you see what their focus is about it. Not saying I would take that reception from you guys.
No, that's fine.
But I just thought, let me ask, because, so right now I send my daughter to something which is a girls group which is set up by a young lady called Clarice, via Fame, who does a thing called Charismatic Minds, and her whole thing is about self-love, teaching the young ladies to value themselves a lot more. So for me, that is very much in line with what you guys are doing about
Right.
It's about education. And
it is. It's all about education.
Growth, so.
This platform that we have, the Health Dream Team, and anything that I am attached to is about education in every form. I mean, education is the key. Knowledge is power. So on every level, that's just all we're about. Every last one of us that are here is that's exactly what we're about on every, I can't even say from the lowest level to the highest level. We're just here, we give our time. And this time is not, we're not paid for this. None of us are paid for this. So you understand the passion behind it. That's why I said this strategy is always in place to get to the young people. Definitely. But we have to go at it, in a certain way. So we have to, Diane can use me. I'm in the schools. We're in Barnfield College, but this is Luton now. I haven't even been able to tell everyone. So I'm now also delivering workshops to the special needs in Barnfield College in Luton. And then that's going to open me to the whole entire college. So then we'll be delivering these same platforms there.
Sorry, can I just say something?
Yes.
I just wanted to, what's your name? Christina. I just wanted to touch on what Christina said, because I think it's important, because I think what you were saying, you can tell me if I'm wrong, what you were saying is that again, in the media, we're not very well represented, and we're not represented really at all. So it doesn't matter if it's, something great or if it's cancer or whatever. When people are talking about topics like cancer and, great things that they're doing or how they've been affected by it, we don't usually see ourselves. So in terms of sitting down here in this format and using this platform to educate ourselves, it is adult orientated. So I actually understand what you're saying in the sense of how then does it infiltrate through to our children. And I think it's important that we do understand that, because the same way we're not going to see ourselves as adults represented and speaking about our experiences to do with cancer, and because we know our bodies are quite unique compared to white people, any other. We have a unique, we have melanin, we have genius skin, we have genius cells. So we know we're quite different. So I do think those things that we do need to pay attention to, and those are the smaller details, that it's easy to talk about cancer and stuff like that, but we do have to pay attention to those details as well. And I think that's more or less what Christina was saying, and how does once we know it as adults, how do we get that information to our children as well?
We'll just piggybacking again.
You kind of answered the question about going into the colleges and all of that.
Sure.
But I think it's important that what you guys are doing, going to those colleges, it's important that becomes like a priority. Do you see what I'm saying? That even though that's a finer detail and we're paying attention to that, we do have to think about the children, and they have to become our priority, because we've already done the damage. Do you know what I mean? But we're learning ourselves. So let's concentrate on our children, because they're the ones that are going to make sure our future generation is going to keep on living, because we're marvels. And just like this gentleman, what's his name? That gentleman there? No, this one here. Darlington. Just like what you said, Darlington. Everything goes hand in hand. So in terms of the finances, do you know what I mean? Like, we have to teach our children the finances. We have to teach our children the health, give them all the important information. And we cannot stop, because every time we tell our children something, guess what? They're going somewhere else and someone's re-educating them. Excuse my language, shit. It's as simple as that.
I guess that's why I say it's important to understand the influence of social media, and especially musicians. Musicians definitely have a lot of power and influence over people. So I'm not sure if it's something that you thought about, but ways of, I guess, connecting with these type of people.
Of course, of course we have.
But
we
I
have
think,
all the answers.
But I definitely think coming out of that box that we're so stereotyped of thinking, let's use music to get kids involved. Let's use this to get them. Use something different.
Sure.
How about you find some stuff about Martin Luther King that might inspire these kids to want to know something different? Like, I'm not saying don't do what you say. I'm saying sometimes we have to think out of ourselves. Do you know?
No, definitely. Again, that's why I'm just gonna always keep plugging Bonded Through Cancer, because I really love what I do, and I love every attachment that I have, right? And when you say that, we had got a small little bit of funding for Black History Month. And again, you know, it's just the normal Black History Month stuff. But what we did was we had little people, and we taught them about Black scientists. You know, not Martin Luther King. We love Martin, come on. You know, Marcus Garvey. We've done all of these ones over and over. But the children didn't know nothing about Black scientists. And this was who invented he didn't invent the traffic light, but he created the amber light, right? Yes, don't ask me right now. So now I look stupid on the thing, right? However, I'm not here for that part. We'll leave that to the philosophers and the scientists. But what I'm saying is I get it. And just, you know, with piggybacking off of Shanae, what this is about is taking steps. And that's just what we've done. So we had to take the steps amongst ourselves first, and then we can, you know, as much support here. Everyone that's here knows where we want to go. And we want to get with the children. We want to get with the hospitals. We want to get with, you know, every area that we can too. But we have to start with steps and have a strategy and have a target. And those targets have been offered the platform for me being diagnosed, starting Bonded Through Cancer, creating Bonded Through Music, creating Operation Homelessness, and so on and so on. And we just hope that the more yourself comes out and your children come out and everyone supports us, the more people will know about what we do and what it's about. So, guys, we're gonna wrap it up now, and I'm just gonna thank you guys. Let's clap, let's clap, let's clap for us. Clap for us, right? Thank you, panel. I know we've lost some panel along the way. Thank you. This is Team Bonded Through Cancer. Shanae's been there from the beginning. She was my PA to PR to events manager. She's just Bonded Through Cancer in the genes. Right? So we're gonna thank everyone, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.
Wow!
It's a wrap. It's my yard still. Let's make everybody come and use my yard for the minute. Bentley fund's going fine. Yeah. Peace everyone in the chat stadium for the long haul. Go watch the latest video that dropped on Siawina. We're living large out here, baby. Yeah, peace, Shaka G. We out, we out.